right, so
Yeah.
thank God for rugby league. Seriously, that's all I want to say. I feel like I've been through the ringer and I'm just sick of kids and particularly women
Yeah.
and nothing is better than
Yeah.
every weekend you've got something to focus on, something important to do, and that thing is watch rugby league.
Red Hot Underdogs rising tonight. Anzac and Louis bringing the fight. Talk about the game ain't just one side. Whistles blowing, sirens loud lights. Energy pumping, scheming plot. Nothing too small, nothing forgot. Boxing gloves and footy kicks. Sport and
Three, two, one, and we're back and rolling live from Vegas. This is the Red Hot Underdogs. I am Anzac, and with me tonight is the ever incredible, long contained, often imitated, never duplicated. Please put your guns in the air for Drewy.
Hey, buddy, how are you? Welcome to the podcast that is always a gamble.
Yes, always a
Yeah.
gamble, and especially in Vegas, baby Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, mate, the opening to the NRL season, it's
Yes,
finally come upon us.
finally.
Thank God for that.
Thank
So,
God. Like it's been a long, God, how long is it? Is it 6 months with no rugby league, or it's like, I don't know. You tell
we've
me.
been treading water.
Yeah,
For
yep,
quite a while, and it's what everybody's been waiting for. And
yep,
Vegas is here. The
yes,
NRL season has kicked off.
yeah,
We've had two NRL games so far this round, which is awesome.
yep.
We did have two other games. We will mention them as well because they are sport,
Oh,
even
yep,
though not everyone might be as interested. But
yep,
we're going to do the full thing with Vegas.
yep. Today, it's Vegas, baby Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As good old Wesley Snipes said in Passenger 57, if you're in Vegas, always bet on black.
Ah, I didn't know that, but yeah, next time I'm in Vegas, let's do it. All right, so
Yeah,
thank God for rugby league. Seriously, that's all I want to say. I feel like I've been through the ringer and I'm just sick of kids and particularly women
yeah,
and nothing is better than
yeah,
every weekend you've got something to focus on, something important to do, and that thing is watch rugby league. So let's start, Drewy. The only thing better, well, the only thing better than what we're doing now is actually watching rugby league. Let's talk the greatest game in the world, Drewy, rugby league. Let's do it.
ab
Let's do it.
absolutely. So, to all you fellow dad bod middle-aged men and window lickers
Window lickers.
and beaten down people,
Beaten.
let's get straight into this bloody thing. So, the first game was actually an English Super League game, bringing the English flavour to Vegas.
Okay.
So
I
it's
didn't like
pretty
that.
good.
Yeah.
We had a bit of an international feel this
Yeah.
time in Vegas. We
Yeah.
had the English, we had the New Zealand Warriors, we had the Lionesses,
Oh,
which we
yeah.
will mention later,
Yeah.
and obviously the Australian sides and the Jillaroos. But right now, we will start with none other than Wigan versus Warrington
Okay.
in an All England soap dodger clash for
Yes.
the ages.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's.
So Wigan actually won that 48 points to 24 against Warrington, in which was pretty much a one-way traffic kind of match.
Yep. Yep. Did you watch it? Like, did any Aussie watch it? Like now, I mean, we. How often do you watch English rugby league? Super League, they call it, right? How often do you watch Super League, Drewy?
I'm going to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
could sit here and lie to
Yeah.
the
Don't lie.
audience and say
Yep.
that I am an aficionado, but I will tell you, I probably watch the English Super League as much as I watch the dressage
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and equestrian.
Yeah.
So, in
Yeah.
other words, never,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
never.
Yeah. But
But
like
it was in Vegas, so I had
in
to.
Vegas, so you had to, yeah. So good on you. You watched it, you enjoyed it. I mean, who's the Super League team who's the Panthers
Who's the
League,
Yep, the big daddy? Well, Wigan are actually the defending champions
Oh,
of
yep.
the Super League. So
Okay. Yep.
they they actually won the grand final last year
Yep.
over there
Yep.
against who I believe it was Hull KR, if my
Oh,
memory serves
no, yep.
correctly.
Yep. Okay.
And anyway, they won this game 48 to 24 against the Sam Burgess coached Warrington.
Ah, okay. All right. Yep.
So poor old Sammy Burgess copped a bit of a shellacking today. It was pretty much one-way traffic
Yep.
with 8 tries to 4,
Yep.
and it was 24-0 at half time. So it was pretty much well wrapped up for the Wigan Warriors, not the
Yep.
New Zealand Warriors,
Yep.
at half time against the Warrington Wolves. And it was pretty much time to park the car in the garage because it was all she wrote. Wigan had 8 different scorers, and at one point in the game, it was actually 42-0, but it was 24-0 at half time.
42-0. Seriously, you don't get
So,
that much, do you? Serious 40.
I,
When's the last game you saw where it was over 40-0, you know?
yeah. It's been a while. Well, there actually was one later on in Vegas, which we will get to in a minute.
Hey,
But
okay, all right. Imagine that.
But this one was, I was happy to see Warrington say, hey, guess what? We're not complete losers. Yes, we're losers, but we're not completely pathetic. We can get some consolation tries. They had a little purple patch at the end. So they ended up scoring 24 points, which essentially made it a little bit better on the scoreline, but
Yeah.
in essence, they well and truly
No
got
one's really,
served, their ass kicked, and their food fed to them.
nobody cares about Super League. Let's move on. I don't care. Come on. Let's
Anyway,
move it on.
shout
Yeehaw.
out to
Yeah.
shout out to former Aussie
Yeah.
Bevan French, who used
Okay.
to play in the NRL, played an absolutely awesome game.
Yeehaw.
But we'll move
Come on,
on
Super
from
League.
the
Come on.
quiche eaters, the quiche eaters, and the tea drinkers, and the soap dodgers.
Okay, boom.
And
Okay, next game. Next game.
so we actually had something closer to home here. We
Oh,
had the Canberra Raiders
oh
with
wait,
their
no.
Viking club,
Yeah. The clappers. The happy clappers.
30 points to the Warriors 8. So they beat the New Zealand Warriors 30 points to 8. It
Yep.
was 16-4 at half time. And like any curse, I give a team a bit of a serve the week before in my rankings and predictions. What do? They come out and make an absolute goose out of me.
Yeah.
So well done, the Canberra Raiders. They put it all together.
Are they
They
looking
had,
good or is it just Warriors looking bad?
I think it was a bit of a combination of both. I'm not going to completely rain on the Raiders parade. They did
Yep.
actually look very good today. They looked cohesive. They looked as though they'd gone away in the off season and
Yep.
actually worked really, really hard and prepared themselves diligently for this
Yep.
occasion.
Yep.
You had Sebastian Chris with 2 tries. You had Xavier Savage with 2 tries for the Raiders.
That guy, what a name, where you get
Yeah,
he's called Savage and
and he is Savage.
he is Savage, but it's like Tyson Fury and all these people with
Yeah.
names that are
The
related.
name goes with sport. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Lane Beachley
Savage,
and
Savage.
surfing. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it. And
yeah,
and Tomoko rounded off the fifth try with a penalty goal to Jamal Fogarty.
yeah,
For the Warriors, it was just 2 tries. It was Capewell and Tuivasa-Sheck. At halftime, it was 16-4. So for the most part, up until the last game, these were fairly one-sided contests.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But, I was kind of expecting this to be fairly evenly contested.
yeah,
I believe on last week's episode, If you haven't watched it, go back and watch, and don't forget to like and subscribe
Prediction.
to the Red Hot Underdogs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Like and
I have these
subscribe for the underdogs.
Yes, I did have these teams ranked 12th and 13th. I believe I
Yeah,
had the Warriors ranked 12th and the Raiders ranked 13th.
yeah, yeah.
And funnily enough, they came together today and the Warriors, I think, look, it's hard to tell. You can't just go off the first round, but judging by what they put out today, they've got a little bit of work to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. Were we looking
Yeah.
at two teams that are not going to make the top eight? What do you reckon? That
Oh,
hasn't.
yeah, no, I don't think either of them will
Yeah.
make the top
Okay.
eight.
All right. That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
not really good, but not really bad. Who knows? Who knows?
who knows?
It was a good start. You know,
Yeah.
while we're talking about the first game, I mean, do you think that the rugby league should market it a bit different the first game? Like maybe what if they were to do, say, a grand final rematch or the same team to do the first game every year? I mean, it's the first game isn't really marketed as well as it could be. What do you reckon?
Yeah, look, I don't mind the whole grand final replay is pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
The other idea you could possibly use, although
mm,
this might come into conflict with my other train of thought, which would be to use this concept for Magic Round, is to get the teams that are the greatest rivals in National Rugby League historically
yeah.
and put them all together for the first round
That's a
to
great
make
idea.
people
Yeah,
look forward to
yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because really, like Canberra and Warriors, like like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like I mean,
Yeah.
you could pull something out of your hat, if you
Yeah.
wanted to, but really, it's not a rivalry. It's not,
No. You
Brisbane
want
Cowboys
yeah.
or Manly and Parramatta and
Or
your
Rabbitohs and Roosters or
yeah, yeah.
Sharks
That's
and
a great idea,
Dragons.
Louis.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
you should be ruling this rugby league because why don't they have the first round and they can work it out? They can be like,
Yes.
yep, the first round we're just gonna boom the big rival matches.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. It would be
true.
good.
True. It doesn't have to be the first game. The first round. You got it.
Yeah,
Seriously.
yeah. But I'm
Make,
happy for Canberra. I do give them some stick on this program,
yeah.
but you know what? They've done well today. They've got off the mark with 2 points. And,
Yep.
Canberra need a few positives in life. They've got god-awful cold weather in the
Yeah.
winter,
Yep.
bloody hot weather in the summer.
Yep.
And in between, it's not really always a great place to live. But
Yep.
shout out to you Canberrans and well done for collecting the two.
Well done, well done. You got two. But also, just touching on that a bit, not only Canberra were in the news because they won, they got their 2 points, but they were the beefcakes that caused that ruckus in Vegas. Yeah, did you read about that?
Yeah, no, I read up on that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so essentially that was Hudson Young and Morgan Smithies, two teammates.
yep,
Now, apparently, Morgan Smithies' room wasn't ready at the hotel with
yep,
which they were staying.
yeah.
So he asked Hudson Young, "Do you mind if I stay in your room? And I sleep on the other side of the
Yeah,
bed."
we'll sleep head to toe. That's what he said.
Mate,
You go that
and
end, I'll go that end, and we'll like spoon. But because we're, like reverse spoon, they call it.
I don't see anything wrong with that. You can put up a wall of pillows in the middle
Nothing wrong
or
with
some
that.
electrician's tape to have a border.
Yeah,
So
nothing wrong with that. No, Okay, yeah.
old Hudson Young didn't take too kindly to it, and
No,
then they had a bit of a scuffle in
nothing.
the elevator.
Elevator
And before the actual
with the
game,
with the blow up baseball bat.
yeah, I'll get to that one. Poor old Smithies had a black eye before he even ran onto the field. So Hudson Young got the better of that altercation.
Yeah,
Then it was reported there was a weapon involved, but
yeah.
that weapon just so happened to be an inflatable hammer.
It's like inflatable. How I thought it was inflatable baseball bat. It was inflatable. That's more dangerous than
It could have
inflatable.
been an inflatable baseball bat.
Yeah,
All I can say is three words,
yeah,
only in Vegas.
yeah. Only in Vegas, and also like also happening to the Canberra players kind of, you know, is justifiable because, as we touched on, Canberra's a shithole. There's nothing there but politicians and roundabouts. And suddenly they walk off the plane. They're in Vegas, baby, Vegas. There's drinks, there's shows, there's showgirls, there's gambling, there's everything at your
Yeah, yeah,
fingertips. And the Canberrians, is that correct?
yeah.
Canberrians?
Yeah, that'll do.
Canberra dues, they go nuts and they just go wasted and they start fights in elevators with blow up, baseball bats.
Well, one thing I was slightly perplexed about is the fact that they were going out on the town and having a few drinks before
Yep.
the big day and before the
Yep.
weekend. Now,
Yep.
if Canberra had have lost,
Yep.
that was one of the major points I was going to be bringing up, going,
Yeah.
Ricky, what are you doing?
What are you
You
doing?
either end up looking like a villain or an absolute genius. So Sticky, it was a stroke of genius, and
Yeah.
maybe that fight got the mongrel out of them
Yeah.
before the game and could have even fired them up.
Fire
So,
it up. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Did anybody bring the inflatable baseball bats to the stadium? The 42,000 people there, Drewy. Huge. Success, success, success. I guess we're going to wait and see the numbers, but
Yeah.
comes on seats, this is a success.
It was a success, and I think they've learned a few lessons from last year. I would
Yep.
be very interested to know if they got all of the games in, because
Yeah.
last year,
Yeah.
the very first game that was being telecast only came into being telecast 20 minutes into the first half
Yeah.
because the American television stations were finishing off a college basketball game.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think they might have got this right this time, and I think a few words might have been said.
Mm.
So it'll be interesting. Anyway, so that we can get all the results in, because we'll talk about everything
And
Vegas and around it later on.
one more thing, Drewy. I know
Yep.
you can't wait to talk about the results. But there's one person, there was a lot of talk about him, but why didn't it happen? Do you know who I'm talking about? The one
No.
I'm talking about the one person that the rugby league, the NRL, wanted to get there and didn't get there in the
Please
stadium.
enlighten me. Enlighten me and everyone else.
You know this. You don't know, Drewy. They wanted to get Donald Trump at a match, at this
Oh,
match.
very good.
You don't know
Yes.
that. I know. I'm dead set
I
serious.
did not know that, mate.
No, no. You need to talk about this, Drewy. They
Work,
said,
screaming babies,
yeah,
podcasts,
yeah.
it gets lost in the maze. But I think that'd be a great idea. I think he's got more pressing political
True.
situations right now with
True.
the Ukraine president.
My point is they wanted
Mm.
to get Trumpy there. They
Yeah,
didn't
yeah, yeah.
get Trumpy there. They
Yeah.
handled it wrong. Handled it wrong. They should have said, Trumpy, I tell you what, we're going to give you 2 front row seats. No, 3 front row seats.
Yeah.
What's his name? Ukraine?
Zelensky.
You?
Yeah, just don't sit him next to Zelensky. No, no,
Trump,
bad
Trumpy's in the
idea.
middle. Trumpy's in the middle. Trumpy in the middle. On his left,
Yeah.
Zelensky, and on his right, Putin. Putin.
Yeah.
You get all 3 watching a game of rugby league, Drewy. This is the first step towards world peace, or at least no war. Because rugby league, there's no war. Everybody is happy. So
It's
I say to you, next year, get Trumpy there with his 2 mates and
Zelensky and Putin.
Yep, right in between.
It's
Trump.
not a bad idea. I
Bad
just
idea.
don't think all of the Three Stooges are going to buy in.
Well,
But anyway,
it can
the
happen.
political Larry, Curly, and Mo. But
Yeah.
I digress. The next game
All
was
right, next game. Okay, next game.
the Jillaroos.
Yeah.
This game was bigger than the landing of the moon, the Olympics,
The Jillaroos.
Elvis singing, all the greatest political events, the falling of the wall in
Name two
Germany.
chicks that play for the Jillaroos. I bet you could actually. You can, can't you?
Yeah, Tamika
I bet,
Upton and
you know
Jess
what? No one else
Burgess,
could. You know,
just to name a
you'd
few.
ask that question to 100,000 people, and you wouldn't get anyone knowing the answers. Sorry, not being rude to all those Jillaroos. Let's hear about the Jillaroos for the first and last time of my life. Let's go.
You're all good. So
Yeah.
the Jillaroos
Yep.
won by a grand total of 90 points to 4 against the Lionesses. Or should I say, the Pussycat Dolls. It was an
Oh,
absolute whitewash.
you're kidding.
17 tries to 1.
Hang on.
17 tries to
Can
1. Let that
you
sink
just say
in.
that? Can you just say that score again? Just say it again.
90 points to 4.
90 to 4.
Yes. Yes, let that sink in. 9-0, not 1-9, 90 points. And you
Uh,
know what? They
yeah,
also left some points on the field. So the conversions were they got 11 out of 17 shots.
yeah.
So they
Okay,
could
so
have potentially got to the 100.
they could have got to 100.
And
It's honestly ridiculous. Like nobody benefits from that.
yeah,
Nobody.
just as a side note, the 11 successful attempts were directly in front. The other ones were off to the side. They weren't kicking their own ass when it was kicking from the sideline. Absolutely nowhere near it. I was screaming at the TV, get it under the bloody
I
posts.
mean,
So,
they're really flogging this women's sport thing, and I'm not against women's sports. You know, I love it in tennis, and but you know, the Aussie rules and the rugby league are really pushing it. You know, they're pushing it,
yeah.
pushing it, they're pushing it. But the truth is, no one gives two shits about it.
Well, I've got to say though, I was kind of impressed with the skill, and I'm not being facetious. I'm
90,
not being
yeah,
sarcastic. I
yeah.
thought there was nuance, there was fluidity, and I'm like, I can buy into the women's game.
Yeah, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, mate. That's what you're
Oh,
doing.
mate,
You,
not
you,
just drinking it, bring
yeah,
me over the keg of Kool-Aid.
you are being sold a soggy sayo. That's what you're being
Yeah,
sold. Nobody
just
wants
so,
to eat the soggy sayo, and that's the game you're playing here when you're watching that garbage. But yeah, I think it's entertaining. It's funny. It's funny.
yeah.
9 to 4.
But
Yeah.
but bringing you the most vital entertainment that
Yeah.
like I mean 99.9% of viewers of the Las Vegas coverage have been dying to find out is that Australia's best players on the day were Tamika Upton with 5 tries,
Oh, yeah.
Julia Robinson with 3 tries,
What's her
and
name?
just
Julia who?
Jess
Julia.
Surges with 3 tries.
You said Julia.
Robinson.
Oh, it's similar to Julia Roberts, as in the actress.
Yeah, but Robinson isn't exactly Roberts.
It's still
Yeah.
worth a connection, you know. You can when
Yeah,
you
both are kind of smoke shows in their prime.
ah,
One just is a bit tougher than the other.
one was
And it's not.
a lot long ago. Julia Roberts, how old is she now? She's got to be well in her 60s, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they're both pretty women,
yeah,
so all
yeah,
good. And it was good to see there were 2 hookers on the field.
yeah, yeah.
But apart from that, but no, apart from that, this is a pretty one-way traffic kind of game. And to put things into context,
Yeah.
the girls don't play for 80 minutes. So it was a 70-minute game,
Mm.
35 minutes a half.
What
So
happened to
if it
play?
was an 80-minute game, that
What
100 is
happened to
getting
equal
track
rights,
played.
Stewie? What happened to equal rights? What they just like knocked off 10 minutes because of why?
All I can say is if you're not getting paid equally, don't complain because you're not working for as long.
Yeah.
Simple
All
as
right.
that.
Agreed. All right, let's move on.
Yeah,
Boom.
please.
Next. Yeehaw.
We love you, women, but
Yeah.
time to move on.
Move on.
You're getting this, yeah. So this one, the actual main game. Now, this is
Yeah.
exactly why I had both of these two teams in my top three
Yep.
in the ladder prediction episode, last
Yep.
episode.
Yep.
And the Panthers won by 28 points to 22 over the Sharks.
Yep.
It was a tough game. They played at a good speed. There was skill
Mm.
all around the park. Both teams started a little bit scratchy, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But after about 15 minutes, when they both found their groove, you could tell that there was a chasm between like them and say the Raiders and Warriors and a
Yeah.
lot of other sides that will be playing this year. I highly expect both these two teams to finish in the four without a doubt.
Yeah.
Entertaining game,
Yeah.
not
Wow.
one-sided. It
Yeah.
brought a lot to the equation. It was a good game to showcase in the
Yep.
main
Go
event.
through it. Go through it with us,
Yeah.
mate. What happened?
So it was actually 5 tries to 4.
Yep.
So for the Panthers, the tries went to Isaiah Yeo, Isaac Targo, Dane Laurie got 2, and Paul Alamotti got 1. For the Sharks, Ramian got 1, Brenton Iakora got 1, Iro got 1, and Adam Fanua-Blake got 1. So it was 5 tries to 4. The Panthers actually led 24-10 at one point.
Yeah.
It was 12-10 at half time. Then the Panthers skipped out to a bit of a lead, but to the Sharks' credit,
Yeah.
they weren't going to be denied, and they showed that a lot of their off-field work during the off-season has paid off because they gave the Panthers an almighty test today. This was no walk in the park for either side, and I think it bodes well for both of them at the end of the season. Although the Panthers get the 2 points, the Sharks can be highly encouraged by their performance.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Are the Panthers going to win 5 times in a row? Did you watch that? Just think this is going to be a 5 banger this year.
You know what? I said to myself, it really is an extreme possibility.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it will be for
Yeah.
sure because
Yeah.
I think going back to the well to win it 5 times in a row,
Yeah.
mix in the fact that they've been affected by the salary cap and had to lose a few players, it does take a toll eventually on you. So I think that that may be a contributing factor to them just missing out in the end. But you'd be an extremely brave man to say that they weren't going to do it.
Yeah.
It's highly possible,
Yeah.
believe me. But
And
I'm just edging it towards the Storm this year for their bit of redemption in a highly unchanged side this year.
yeah.
Plus, they've got Stefano Utoikamanu from the Tigers. I think that might just push them over to favouritism for the Storm this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I had in my our prediction video last week, I had Storm 1, Panthers 2, and Sharks 3.
But that Nathan Cleary guy, the amount
Yeah.
of tries he set up, how he controlled the game, the 40-20. I know that 40-20 didn't work and stuff, but he is phenomenal. He really is phenomenal. And if
Yes.
he stays uninjured, then they are 100% they're going to have a shot at this grand final again. They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. And the word GOAT gets thrown around
Yeah.
quite loosely. Listen,
Yeah.
I still think Cameron Smith is the greatest rugby league player of all time, even though I hate the Storm and I can't stand Cameron Smith.
Oh,
However,
10
I will
minutes.
say
10
thank
minutes
you.
morning, 10 minutes. 10
I
minutes.
will say this. Nathan Cleary is still very young, and
Mm.
his name is very, very much in the conversation to one day take that mantle. And don't be surprised if he one day does. The only knock on him, possibly at this point, it's not how many premierships he won, because he's already sealed that, and there could be more to win. He needs to prove himself a little bit more at Origin. Once he does that, if he does that, and he continues the same
The
form
Daily
and
M. He's
remains
got to win
relatively injury free,
the Daily
he's
M.
on the path.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
hasn't got
yeah,
the Daily M.
yeah, and that too.
Yeah.
So there are always a few obstacles,
Mm.
but gee, he's well and truly in it, up to
Mm.
his eyeballs to
Yeah.
one day be labelled that
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
And
But
when I
yeah,
was watching the match today, that's what I was thinking of. You
mm,
just can't help think, are you watching a team that's going to win for a fifth time in a row? And It got me thinking. Like I know it's the first game or second game. It got me thinking, are we going to be sitting there watching Storm and Panthers in the grand final? And if we are, Drewy, which you predicted, and I think it's going to happen, who are you going to go for?
Oh, the dog shit sandwich. I really hate both of them. I'd rather shit in my own hands and clap,
Yep.
but I will go for the Storm. Oh God, I feel like having about 10
All right.
baths after
I'm
that
not
and
going to
really
go for the
sudsing
Storm.
myself off
I'm going to
at
go
a
for
car
five.
wash.
I'm going to go for the dynasty. I'm going to go for Panthers winning five in a row. And I have this fear that's going to happen and hope that someone can stop them. Can someone stop them?
I'm absolutely done and finished
Yeah.
with the Panthers hangover. No, thank you very, very much. I will tell you right this. Honestly,
Yeah.
I would rather eat a plate of dog shit right now and wash it down with some cat piss. If
Yeah.
someone presented me with those items
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would consume them if I knew for certain that the
Certain.
Panthers weren't going to win this year, and I would consume every last ounce of
Yeah.
both of
Yeah.
those
Yeah. You would.
particular items.
I've seen you eat weirder things, Joey. I've seen you eat weirder things.
Correct. It's called Saturday night or Sunday morning.
Yep.
But yeah, but just on the whole event itself, I think it's been pretty good.
Yep.
Just as a precursor, this isn't so much the Vegas experiment to get a American side into the competition
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's almost logistically impossible due
Yeah.
to only finances and getting the players
Yep.
and
Yep.
also the travel time than
Yeah.
anything else and
Yeah.
lining it up a playing schedule. But it is to showcase our game, and if this can be a tradition
Yeah.
for many years to come, then I think it's great.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun. And we talked about I think last year on the Red Hot Underdogs, we talked about this.
Yeah,
And
we did.
we also talked about wouldn't it be great to have, a NFL star
Yeah,
playing for rugby league,
yeah,
if they can bring one in, even just to kind of kick and just to be carried, like what if they said this, Drewy? What if they said rugby league said, okay, when you play in Vegas, you got to have one American NFL player on the field for 30 minutes or something like that.
yeah.
You know?
He can be on your bench, but he's got to play a maximum of 10 minutes,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah.
There you
And
go.
and they
That'd
put them
be
on
interesting.
just to butter up those Americans, you know?
But you know what? I'll
Yeah,
tell you something. I reckon a lot of Americans, just regular people, will be watching the product of rugby league and thinking, wow, this is fantastic.
yeah,
The NFL, for as much as they love NFL, a lot of them will be going, geez, a lot of stop-start in the
yeah,
NFL.
yeah, yeah,
This seems like a lot of perpetual motion,
yeah.
constant moving. You don't
Constant.
have to stop every time someone gets
Yeah,
tackled.
yeah,
There's a lot to be said and a lot
yeah,
of upside
yeah. It's a
for it.
much better game. I mean, the
Oh,
only
much better game.
much better game. It's so much more
Yeah.
exciting. It really is the greatest game in the world. It really, really
Yeah,
dead set
yeah,
is. It
yeah,
really, really is. So I'd like this Vegas thing to continue. We got next year happening as well. This next year, the last
yeah,
one,
absolutely.
and they've said the
We don't
Premiers.
know the sides yet, though, but and I
Yeah,
think Vegas is the perfect location in America to have
yep,
it. It's
yep,
very iconic.
yep.
It's a good party town,
Party,
gambling,
gambling.
women,
Yep,
alcohol,
hookers, hookers.
losing your money on a Saturday night. It's got the lot because what happens in Vegas stays in
That's
bloody
the
Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
it's great. And like, am I allowed to talk about this? Isn't it a shame that Jared Hayne didn't, well, became the man that he is today? Because let's say his career took a different path, okay?
Yes, yes,
Let's say even like because he played American football, like he played.
yes.
I
Yep.
he did a couple of good things. Okay,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
some catches, whatever. But let's say he came back and he didn't. do whatever he did to those chicks and go to jail and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he remained our
Mm.
star, okay?
Yeah.
He would be the one you'd market at,
Yeah, absolutely. Look,
you know?
there and because he had the charisma, he had the
Charisma,
attacking play.
been there, he'd tried
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he'd be a good connection. Um,
Yeah, look, there's always a possibility of one of these crossover stars happening in the
yeah,
future. I
yep,
don't really think we've got one now.
mhm,
So Nathan Cleary's an exceptional player,
yeah,
probably doesn't quite have the charisma and the personality for that crossover stardom, but
yep,
you
yep,
never know one day. But apart from that, I just think the whole initiative was awesome. And
yep,
like I said earlier, just the international flavour this year, having the
yeah,
New Zealand Warriors,
yep,
having the Lionesses or the Pussycat Dolls as they were getting beaten 90-4,
yep,
having Warrington and Wigan.
yep.
Nothing like some big, loud, sunburnt, drunk Englishmen
You know what would be
walking
better,
their way through
Joey?
Vegas with the Aussies,
What about next year if they had, the Maori teams and Tonga and the Aboriginals and what if they did
Yeah,
that? Because really,
possible.
you ask a bloody American what's Canberra? Where's they don't know Canberra. They don't know Brisbane. They don't know Manly. They don't know Parramatta, but
No,
do know New Zealand. They do know Tonga. They do know Aboriginal culture. So maybe big picture, that's what we need to focus on. That in the Vegas games, I mean.
I'm making a prediction for next year. You've heard it
Right
right here, right now.
here, right
So I
now.
think
Do it, do it.
so. I know we don't have much time left, so I'm going to quickly spit it out.
You've got
I think we're
one
going to
minute and 40 seconds, cuz.
Yes. So we're going to have two NRL games next year,
Only
obviously.
two. Oh, wait, two,
Yeah,
two.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So we'll have four NRL teams playing. I think we'll have the Jillaroos back again, but
Oh,
I think they'll play the Kiwi version of the girls. I
okay,
can see it happening. It's just the
okay,
thought process.
okay,
And I think we're probably going to bring the English Premier back, whoever wins the Super League
okay.
against another side. That's my path. I think it makes logical sense.
Okay, but
Whether
what?
it's what people want or not is another matter.
Oh, so is the rugby league, the NRL teams already established, right? We know
Not
that.
yet, not yet. But what I'm saying is, I think they'll have two NRL games.
Okay,
They'll have a Jillaroos versus the Kiwi women's team, and I think they'll have the Premier of the English League
okay.
again up against someone else next year. That's my prediction
Has
anyway.
everyone been to Vegas? I don't think every team's been, like Dolphins.
No, 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 no.
So,
So we'll see what happens.
so does that mean the ones that haven't gone are going to go, or
Correct,
like,
correct.
well,
We're not
like,
going to double. Yes, that is absolutely correct.
Joey, that's Vegas. That's our.
Yeah.
It was good, yeah.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Certainly stays there. This is fun. I want to do this every year. Talk about Vegas. Put on a cowboy hat, and throw your guns in the air.
And what happens on the Red Hot Underdogs stays on the Red Hot Underdogs.